What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. As always, we're here to keep you updated on everything that's going on with the Dallas Cowboys as the team strives to improve every day, aiming for nothing but victories. You know the drill. This team is all about fine-tuning, adjusting, and getting stronger with each game. So, before we dive into today's exclusive news, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You won't want to miss any of this season's breaking stories. Today, we have a major update regarding one of our key defenders, Eric Kendricks, and his unfortunate absence from the upcoming game against the Detroit Lions. Plus, we'll be diving into the Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson, who's quickly becoming a huge asset in the passing game, and how injuries across the defense might affect the Cowboys' game plan this week. Let's get right into it. Linebacker Eric Kendricks has been officially ruled out of Sunday's matchup against the Lions due to a shoulder injury, as confirmed by ESPN's Adam Schefter. This is a significant loss for the Cowboys' defense, especially since Kendricks has been a critical component so far this season. In just 5 games, Kendricks has racked up 52 tackles, including 2 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble. His performance last week against the Steelers was nothing short of dominant, leading the team with 10 tackles and recording a tackle for loss, which played a pivotal role in the 20-17 victory. Head coach Mike McCarthy spoke highly of Kendricks earlier this week, calling him the quarterback of the defense. He's the guy who knows the system inside and out, making him a vital leader on the field when it comes to setting the defense and communicating plays. His absence is going to be felt, no question about it. But the bad news doesn't stop there. Kendricks' backup, Nick Vigil, is listed as questionable due to a foot injury, which leaves the linebacker unit in a tough spot heading into Sunday. If Vigil can't suit up, the Cowboys may have to rely on elevating Darius Harris from the practice squad, which could significantly impact the defensive scheme. Kendricks' injury is just the latest in a series of setbacks for the Cowboys' defense. Micah Parsons, one of the brightest stars on this team, has been out since suffering a high ankle sprain in Week 4 against the Giants. Parsons has been the heart and soul of the pass rush, and without him, the defense has had to rely on a rotation of backups to apply pressure. But let's face it, there's only one Micah Parsons. Then there's a situation with DeMarcus Lawrence, who has also been battling injuries. The Cowboys' depth along the defensive line has taken a big hit as well, with rookie Marshawn Nealon being placed on injured reserve after tearing his meniscus in the Steelers game. All of this leaves the Cowboys' defense looking a little thin as they prepare to face a Lions offense that has been clicking on all cylinders. Despite all these setbacks, the Cowboys' defense has still managed to hold its own. They're currently ranked 14th in the NFL, allowing 329.4 yards per game. Not too shabby considering all the injuries, but Sunday's matchup against the Lions will certainly test their resilience. Now let's switch gears and talk about something a bit more positive. Jake Ferguson, our tight end, is quickly becoming a major weapon in the Cowboys' passing game. We all know that CeeDee Lamb is the star of this offense, but the emergence of Ferguson as the second option for Dak Prescott has been one of the brightest developments this season. Coming into the year, most people expected Brandon Cooks to be the clear-cut number 2 target for Dak. But after an early season injury, Cooks has struggled to get involved in the offense, which opened the door for Ferguson to step up. And boy, has he delivered. Ferguson has quietly put together an impressive campaign so far, and in just 3 games, he's averaging 5.6 receptions for 71 yards per game, which is fantastic production from a tight end. In Week 5, Ferguson led all Cowboys pass catchers with a 71% success rate on his targets and generated 5.4 EPA, expected points added, making him one of the most efficient players on the field. What makes Ferguson so valuable is his versatility. He can line up inline in the slot or even split out wide, which gives the Cowboys all kinds of creative options in their offensive play calling. His ability to block in the run game has also been a big plus, making him a complete tight end that defenses can't easily account for. And let's not forget, Ferguson's ability to run after the catch has been something special this year. He's breaking tackles and making plays that get the fans fired up. As the season progresses, it's becoming more and more clear that Ferguson is not just a reliable option for Dak, but potentially one of the most dangerous weapons in this Cowboys offense. As great as Ferguson has been, it's still CeeDee Lamb who leads the charge in the passing game. Lamb has solidified himself as one of the top receivers in the NFL, and he's the guy that defenses key in on every single week. Yet, despite being the focal point of opposing defenses, Lamb continues to produce, showing why he's the heart and soul of this offense. But with the emergence of Ferguson and the continued development of Jalen Tolbert, the Cowboys' passing game is starting to look more balanced. Tolbert, in particular, had a breakout performance in Week 5, hauling in 7 receptions for 87 yards, including the game-winning touchdown against the Steelers in the final seconds. This added depth at wide receiver and tight end is exactly what the Cowboys need to take their offense to the next level, especially with some of the injuries on the defensive side of the ball. So, what does all this mean for the Cowboys heading into their Week 6 matchup against the Lions? Well, it's going to be a tough battle, especially with Kendricks out and Vigil questionable. The defense is going to need to step up in a big way, and they'll likely be relying on some lesser-known names to fill the gaps. Offensively, the Cowboys will need to continue leaning on the connection between Dak Prescott and Jake Ferguson, while also getting more out of guys like Tolbert and Michael Gallup to spread the ball around. If the Cowboys can get into a rhythm early and avoid turnovers, they should be able to keep pace with a high-scoring Lions offense. All right, let's dive into a hot topic that's got Cowboys Nation talking this week: Ezekiel Elliott and his surprising lack of usage in the Cowboys offense. Zeke was brought back in the offseason to help stabilize the run game, and with his pedigree as a 3-time Pro Bowler, many expected him to still be a major part of this offense. But here we are, heading into Week 6, and Zeke's role has been, let's just say, underwhelming. During a recent appearance on 105.3 The Fan, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones downplayed concerns about Elliott's limited touches, insisting that the team is simply saving him for later in the season. According to Jones, the running back isn't as frustrated as reports have suggested, and the team is being cautious with how they use him. This is overblown. Dumbfounded is a mischaracterization and a poor description of how he feels about things, Jones stated. We're saving him, and we should be. Rico Dowdle is an exceptional running back, but he's always had the challenge of his size when it comes to blocking and protecting the quarterback. The big issue with him has been what? He's had injuries throughout his career. So, it would be crazy to rely on that. Zeke is there, and we want to protect him during this particular period of time. Jones is trying to calm the noise around the situation, but this explanation left a lot of fans, and probably Zeke himself, scratching their heads. Here's the thing, Cowboys fans. Dallas is sitting at 3-2, and the running game has been one of the biggest issues on offense so far this season. The Cowboys are ranked second to last in the NFL, averaging just 82 rushing yards per game. That's not exactly the level of production you'd expect from a team with Ezekiel Elliott, who was once considered one of the best in the game. Rico Dowdle has done a solid job stepping up as the primary running back, with 54 carries for 221 yards so far this season. He's been effective, but the Cowboys' rushing attack still isn't delivering enough balance to keep defenses honest. You could argue that the Cowboys' passing game, led by Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, has been spectacular, but at some point, the offense needs more dynamism to keep pace in a tough NFC. Meanwhile, Zeke has only 30 carries for 98 yards this season, and his usage has dramatically decreased since Week 1. To put that in perspective, he ran for 40 of those 98 yards in the season opener, but since then, he's barely been involved. It's almost like he's disappeared from the game plan. Despite this, Elliott remains a consummate professional. Here's what he had to say about his reduced role. "It's definitely a little different, but I'm keeping my head down," said Elliott. "I'm just focused on being a good teammate. I've been trying to keep leading this team, and I'm not making this about me. It's about this football team winning." Here's where Cowboys fans are getting frustrated. Jerry Jones claims that the team is saving Zeke, but for what? The Cowboys are in the midst of a tight playoff race, and their offense desperately needs balance. If Elliott is healthy and able to contribute, why isn't he being used more? Sure, Jones praised Rico Dowdle and acknowledged his talent, but he also pointed out Dowdle's history of injuries and his limitations in pass protection. That's a clear sign that there's uncertainty about whether Dowdle can handle the full workload. So, with Zeke available and proven as both a rusher and a blocker, shouldn't the team lean on him more to take pressure off Dak and the passing game? This isn't to say that Dowdle doesn't deserve his shot. He's been great in spots. But the Cowboys are leaving one of their most experienced and trusted players on the sidelines, all while the run game struggles to get going. If the Cowboys are saving Zeke, when exactly do they plan to unleash him? The offensive line is still dealing with injuries, and the team hasn't exactly dominated on the ground this season. Plus, the Cowboys have a tough test this week as they face the Detroit Lions, one of the better teams in the NFC this season. If Dallas wants to keep the Lions' explosive offense off the field, they'll need to control the clock, which means running the ball effectively. This could be a great opportunity for Elliott to get more touches, especially in those short yardage and red zone situations where he's traditionally thrived. Zeke may not be the same back he was during his early years in Dallas, but he's still more than capable of being a valuable asset to this team. His ability to grind out tough yards and protect the quarterback in passing situations makes him the perfect complement to Dowdle's speed and elusiveness. But as of now, we're left wondering, what exactly is the plan here? If the Cowboys don't start using Zeke soon, is there a chance they'll regret not involving him more, especially if the run game continues to struggle? Let's talk about the big picture here. Right now, the Cowboys' offense is heavily reliant on Dak and the passing game. CeeDee Lamb is having another stellar season, and we've seen the emergence of Jake Ferguson as a reliable second option in the passing game. The tight end has been fantastic, but the offense lacks the balance needed to keep defenses from teeing off on Dak. Without a consistent running game, Dak is going to face increased pressure to make plays in the passing game. And as we know, when Dak is forced to carry the load all by himself, things can get dicey, especially against top-tier defenses. This is where Zeke's absence becomes even more puzzling. His presence could help open up the offense, allowing the Cowboys to mix up their play calling and take some of the burden off Dak's shoulders. All right, Cowboys Nation, now it's time for you to weigh in. How do you feel about the Cowboys' defensive injuries going into Sunday's game? Can the team weather the storm without Kendricks and Parsons? And what are your thoughts on Jake Ferguson's rise as the number 2 option for Dak Prescott? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe for more Cowboys content. We'll keep you updated on all the latest news and analysis as the season rolls on. Thanks for tuning in, and go Cowboys!